The topic that I'm going to discuss is building information systems. Building a new information system is one kind of planned organizational change. This new information system involves much more than new hardware and software. It also includes changes in jobs, skills, management, and organization. And when we design a new information system, we are actually redesigning the organization. So this means that system builders must understand how a system will affect specific business process and the organization as a whole. Okay, so what am I going to discuss about in this lesson or in this topic are the following. How does building new systems produce organizational change? What are the principal methodologies for modeling and designing systems? What are new approaches for system building in the digital firm? What are the core activities in the systems development process? And what are the alternative methods for building information systems? Now, let me start with the first topic under building information systems, which is how does building new systems produce organizational change? Actually, there are four categories of organizational change. These are automation, rationalization, redesign, and paradigm shifts. As you can see here in this figure, automation has low risk and also low return, whereas paradigm shifts has high return and also high risk. Okay, I'll be discussing this in the next succeeding slides. So let me start with, let's go back here. So the first of these categories is, of course, automation. So it's about performing tasks more efficiently and effectively. So let's talk about automation. Okay, so the most common form of IT-enabled organizational change is this one, the automation. The first applications of IT involve, of course, under this, assisting employees with performing their tasks more efficiently and effectively. Like, for example, calculating the paychecks and payroll registers, or like giving bank tellers instant access to customer deposit records. Another thing would be developing a nationwide reservation network for airline ticket agents. So these are all examples of automation. So that's what automation is all about. Um, when building an information system, we have to make sure that using the system will make our job or the job or the task a lot easier for the user. So I remember this saying of Bill Gates that in order to it was like when building an information system, because we would like to come up, of course, with a more efficient and effective one. So in building information system, he said he will always choose a lazy person. Parang it's kind of an inspiration, in building an information system. I will always choose a lazy person to do a difficult job because he will find an easy way to do it. Now, moving on. So, a deeper form of organizational change is one that follows quickly from early automation, which is rationalization of procedures. Because automation frequently reveals new bottlenecks in production and makes the existing arrangement of procedures and structures painfully cumbersome. Now, rationalization of procedure is the streamlining of standard operating procedures. Here, that means rationalization just simplify its business processes for specific function. Now, rationalization is actually found in programs for making a series of continuous quality improvements, like in products, services, and operations, such as, of course, in total quality management. Example of this, of course, we need to capture or we need to enter the data into the information system. So, to make things a lot easier when capturing data, so from data entry, we moved on with um, barcode reader, and then eventually this was replaced by, of course, the QR codes, and then of course there are RFIDs that are also being used nowadays. Now, a more powerful type of organizational change is, of course, the BPR or the business process redesign, or this one here, uh, so-called redesign. Okay. So in here, it requires a new vision of how the process is to be organized. Which means, or that means business processes are analyzed, simplified, and redesigned. So business process redesign reorganizes the workflows, combining steps to cut waste and eliminate repetitive paper-intensive tasks. Now, a widely cited example of business process redesign is Ford Motor Company's invoice less processing, which reduced headcount in Ford's North American accounts payable organization of 500 people by 75%. Accounts payable clerks used to spend most of their time resolving discrepancies between purchase orders, receiving documents, and invoices. So, what Ford did, they redesigned its accounts payable process so that the purchasing department enters a purchase order into an online database that can be checked by the receiving department when the ordered items arrive. So if the received goods match the purchase order, the system automatically generates a check for accounts payable to send to the vendor. So in this case, there's no need for vendors to send invoices. And then the last one is the paradigm shifts. It involves rethinking the nature of the business and the nature of the organization. Okay, so imagine, for example, imagine using an artificial intelligence for very hazardous tasks or job specifically, like for example, defusing a bomb. Okay, so by means of using AI, we can, of course, save a lot of money because it would be too expensive maybe to hire personnel or an employee or a person to do that because it's too risky talaga. No? So, may mga hazard pay pa and all that. But also, but it's also risky since we're not so sure how the machines behave during the time that they're deployed already in the area that they need to defuse the bomb. or risky in such a way na, of course, it's very difficult to create these machine learning, robotics, or artificial intelligence thing. You know, it would require really a lot of study to be able to come up and develop um, a machine that thinks like human beings.